Hello, my crafty friends. Well, this is the next in the series of the two journals out of one Digi Kit. And let me find the Digi Kit so I can show you in case you want to buy it. It is Elsie Bell's Bookshelf on Etsy, and it's called Grunge Garden. And this book I'm doing with the digitals that Tammy Porter printed off and sent to me, where she printed them. She was able to print them all the way to the edge, and to put, stuff on the front and the back of the paper, and like this one. And I wasn't able to do that on my printer, so I made a separate journal that way, showing you, because some of the artists will receive papers already printed out for them by Tammy, and then anyone who wants to can go and get the kit and print them out themselves. As you can see, there's a difference in the size of the books, and one of the reasons is because I had borders I had to take off of all of these pages. I also on some of them I glued two together to put something. Well, this one I coffee dyed on the back. After I printed it out, I coffee dyed it. And then let's find the ones where I had to glue them together. Now I'm not going to be able to find one since I said that, but they're in here. Well, I know I did it. There we go. So here's one where I printed it off on a an onion skin paper, but it was very, very thin and see-through. And so I put it on the back of this one that I printed off on white copy paper. So I got rid of the white copy paper on the back, and I was able to make this one more usable. And then I've got coffee dyed papers in here, and I've got some papers I dyed purple, and some papers I dyed blue, a turquoisey blue, to go with this. Here's another one that I printed off on the onion skin and put on the back of one that was printed off on white. This is a piece of onion skin dyed. I think it's onion skin dyed. It might be avocado dyed. Most of my avocado dyed papers are darker than this, but I did have a batch that was light, so I'm not sure which one that is. In this book, I used everything that I used the ones she printed out, and then I used the purple papers, and I used some marble papers, and I put marbled papers in this one too. So they both have basically the same kinds of stuff in them. And this one, she printed on both sides, and I put some coffee dyed paper in. And so that's the difference. This is what was printed on the back of a sheet. So so that's the difference at this point. Now, in the ephemera stuff that came with it, there are tags, and these, when she printed them out, she printed them where they're colored on the back. So I didn't, and these are on a heavier paper than what I printed mine on. So I didn't do anything to those except cut them out. I'm going to ink around them, and I'm going to cut out the little holes. But as far as putting something on the back of them, I didn't have to do that to these. And I didn't do that to these either, because this is the way they come when she printed them out. They had, colors and stuff on the back. And so here are those. And then there were pockets that also had stuff that was printed on the back of them. So I didn't do anything except cut these out for this. She did some on vellum, and I just cut them out the way they were because I think they'll be fun to use that way. So that's this set that goes with the one that was printed out and sent to me. And then on the ones I printed out, because I didn't print them out on cardstock, I printed them out on regular coffee copy paper, I went ahead and put coffee dyed cardstock on the back of them. Okay, so these are sturdier than the ones in that will be in there, but all of them are usable. Same thing with the tags. I put coffee dyed paper on the back of all of these, and there are a ton of tags, way more than you want to put in this book. But some of them were printed on white paper, and some of them were printed on cream colored paper, and you can tell the difference in the tags, and I wanted to include some of both. So, and some of them tore a little bit, like this one, so I probably won't put it in here, but I wanted to show you what you can do if that happens. And then I have the pockets that I printed out on coffee dyed paper, and this is a bookmark, coffee dyed paper, and these were printed out on a cream color paper. It looks kind of white in the camera, but it's not. It's cream colored. It's just a lighter color than the coffee dyed ones. And this was on that onion skin paper, so it'll be kind of like the vellum that's in that one. This onion skin paper is kind of hard to cut out, but there's an envelope in it. And there's one that's just on white paper. And then there's some extras that I printed off so you could see the difference in them. I wanted to keep them so you could see. This is printed on white paper. This is printed on cream paper, and it's a heavier paper than the coffee paper. And this is printed on the white paper and then coffee dyed. Actually, this is my favorite right here, the ones that are printed and then coffee dyed. I did use a laser printer, so I didn't have to worry about the ink running when I coffee dyed the papers. So that is something to think about. And then this is just coffee dyed cardstock that I was going to show you, like I used to back all of these things. So there is that. And this book is, this plum color matches it perfect, the plum color of ink. And I did a little inking around the images when I put them on. And so I'm going to use that plum color to ink things in this book. I could also just use black because there's black borders around this, but I'm going to go ahead and use the plum because I think it'll look good with the black. This one is a blue book. So I'm going to ink stuff in this book with blue just because I can. Normally I would ink everything in sepia, and this has sepia inked around it on the cover. But I'm going to ink these with blue because I think that'll be fun. And that will make it similar to these. But if you just have sepia ink or you just have black ink, use them. Whatever you've got, you probably bought it because you like it. So just use it and don't worry about it. I just wanted to show you different ways you could do it. Now I'm going to go ahead and ink a few of each one of these so you can see the difference. And then I'm going to do a few of the pockets and envelopes and things. And but I'm not going to do everything right now because it would take forever to ink all that stuff and put it all in there. So we're going to start with these, and I'm going to just go ahead and you can't really tell a lot where there's black. You know, you can't see that it's plum a whole lot, but on the back, I always ink the back too. And you could do it, you know, where it's messier. After all, it is Grunge Garden, right? And this one was done, the reason it tore is because this was that same, I kind of like that actually. That may go in here after all because it's pretty cool. On that same onion skin paper and then glued onto cardstock. So, and you can make it really neat where it's just like that, or you can make it grungy. I'm going to grunge them up a little bit. This is the one that was done on the white paper. And then the coffee dyed cardstock was put behind it. So on the back, you can't tell the difference between it and the one done on the cream paper. See, they all look pretty similar, but you can tell this has more true white in it than this one does, because the onion skin paper was a cream color also. So that's the difference between white paper and a creamier paper. It really doesn't matter. Use what you've got. I just wanted you to see the difference. I'm going to do a few of them that are plainer because we want to add stuff to them, because we can. Now, most everything I'm using, the pages that are, have flowers and stuff on them, those all came from the kit. But I did put some of my own papers in here. And I liked adding that. You can. I have seen a lot of people make journals out of kits where all they did, they used everything that was in the kit and they didn't use anything else. And you can do that. That's perfectly fine. That's just not my favorite way to go. I like to put some of myself in the kit and not just the artist, although her stuff is gorgeous. But you do it how you want to do it. I admit that I feel limited somewhat when I'm using a kit, and I didn't know how I would feel because I've never made a journal from a kit before. So, but some people like that better because they don't have to worry about it. They know it's going to be beautiful because the artist did the work. But you're an artist too, so go ahead and infuse a little bit of yourself in the journal. I really think you'll like it better if you add some things that are just you. Now, that's all the tags I'm going to ink up right now. And I'll add more tags when I send out the journal. I'll send more tags with it. But right now, that's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to do some of these journaling cards. And you could make these into tags. All you have to do is, you could trim the sides, or you could just put a little tab on them and make them into, you could put lined paper on the back. So, as journaling cards, it'd be easier to write on. You can do whatever you want to with them. This is one that was printed on white paper. This was printed on cream paper. So what you put on the back doesn't have to be coffee dyed cardstock. It could be whatever you want it to be. Let's do this one. This one's on the onion skin paper. I want to use some of everything. But once again, on this kit, I put, for this journal, I put coffee dyed cardstock on the back of everything. Oh, let's do this one. That's really cute. But you can tell that was definitely printed on white copy paper. Okay, I'm going to put those up for now, because that's all we're going to worry about right at the moment. Okay, now I've got this flimsy little bookmark, and I don't know how I'm going to use it. I didn't attach it to cardstock, so it may not even get included, but it is part of the kit. And for these, I want to go ahead and ink. This is on that onion skin paper, which is kind of like trying to ink around a piece of magazine paper or something. It's very, very thin. Tissue paper, something like that. Okay, now there's lines here. And I'm going to go ahead and fold it on the lines. And there aren't any instructions as to how this is supposed to be done. So you do it however you think works. Because of the way this one is printed, you know, you could use this as the front and then have this little flap fold over like that. And glue it down. Or you could glue this inside and glue it down on that side and have it open like that. Or you could take it and put it together like this and just paper clip it in. You wouldn't have to glue it down anywhere. And that way the whole thing can be seen and enjoyed. But I'm going to go ahead and add a little ink to this. It has black lines, but why not add some ink? Just adds a little bit more dimension to it. Okay, so there's that one. I'm going to save that one because it's big, and right now I'm not wanting to do another big one. So this one's coffee dyed. I mostly want you to see the difference between them, and we're going to add them both ends. So you could do it like this if you want to, but I think it's meant to be done like this. So it's very cute, but now that we've folded it, I'm going to ink this part. Now then, you could make it even where you don't glue it at all and just tuck something in. You can open it up, and if you want to do that, because if you're going to paper clip it in, you could, you know, theoretically you don't have to glue it at all. So you could just do that, go ahead and ink it like this. And then of course you want to ink these edges. And you could write in here, you know, it wouldn't have to be a pocket, it could be a place for a little message. Just because they intended it to be a pocket doesn't mean you have to use it that way. You're not limited by what the artist who came up with the kit intended. And one of the reasons for doing this, not only to make the journals to send in and so somebody can buy them in the auction and support the Disabled Artists Foundation, but is to give you ideas on what to do for yourself. So, you know, these two could maybe be glued, so which would hold stuff in place. Now you wouldn't want to use that because it wouldn't fit, but let's say you wanted to tuck something like this in there. You could tuck that in there. If this was glued just right here to make a little pocket, and then you could shut this and go ahead and paper clip it in. Or you can glue it in and make it a pocket. You can do it however you wish. So there's that one. And we're going to set those aside for now. I do want to do one of the big ones. This is a bigger envelope, so you can put something big in it. But once again, it is, you know, printed in a way that means you can use it and glue it down, or you can clip it in, or you can tip it in like this so you can see both sides. But either way, or you can do it like the little one I said, where you open it up and write in it. It can be glued down and then open up. And just to give myself more options. Now, I probably will not use this way because it's white. I didn't glue anything on the white side. I just left it white because it's supposed to be an envelope. Okay, so we can, you could actually, if this one was coffee dyed, you could leave it like this and open it up and it'd be a surprise inside. So if you wanted to use the same, because there's only one of these big ones, you know, that way you could use the as a template for, or you could use this as a template for other pieces, you know, to use other kinds of papers with it. I could use my blue papers or my purple papers or scrapbook paper, whatever I wanted to add in there. Okay, let's go ahead and ink it on this side too. And you can, you know, you can grunge it up some so that the ink's obvious, or you can leave it neat. I kind of like it if the ink shows a little bit. So there's that one. And that's all the different kinds of stuff that came with it. I just printed them off on different kinds of papers. And so let's move these for now out of the way and work with the ones that we've inked up. Okay. I'm a mess. I'm a mess. Okay. So we're going to decide what we want to do with this. We've got these three different pockets with these prints. And then we've got some cards, and these cards will fit inside these envelopes. So you could put all three of those cards, if you wanted to, right inside that envelope in the journal. I think I am going to make this one an envelope because it is big, and it'll be more unwieldy to leave open. So I'm going to go ahead and glue it shut. Oh, I went too far. I should have glued here and here and not there, because I glued on part of the envelope that's not actually needing to be glued. Okay, so I'm going to have to let that dry before I do anything with it, because I got glue here. So what not to do when you're using this, glue on the flap that's going to go up, because it's smaller, on the smallest side of whatever you're doing. Okay, we're going to let that sit there. And right now we're going to let these things just sit over there also. I do want to punch my holes in here. Because it looks kind of silly to not have the holes punched. And I'm just using a regular old hole punch that you can find everywhere, from Dollar Tree to Walmart to anywhere else. Very handy tool, but nothing, you know, special or expensive. Okay, so there are those tags. Now I have not even thought about what I think this one, because it's so thin, I am going to go ahead and glue it together as well. Let me, yeah. I'm just, oh. Okay. And I'm just going to fold this over and let it. One thing you could do, because this will be kind of hard to get stuff in and out of, is take a hole punch. If you have a small one, if you have a bigger one, you can use it if you do it before you put it together. Once you put it together, it'll have to be a small one. Okay, see, this was so thin that didn't want to cut through it. So let's see. I'm going to put this paper behind it. And we're going to try again. I don't know. It may end up. There we go. Now that's half of the circle, and we don't normally do a whole half of the circle, but it did make it easier. It's actually a little more than half, because there's a little arrow that shows half. And when you can't see it, you know, that's a little better. Let me go ahead and ink that. And since I grunged that a little bit, I'm going to grunge the rest of it up a little bit. There we go. So this one, that's so pretty on the back, isn't it? And this one, remember I said you could do it by folding it in like this. And then you don't have to worry about the flap. You could just glue that flap down. So you can do that as well. So I'm going to leave that like that for right now. Okay. So we've inked up some envelopes or pockets, depending on how you decide to use this flap. This one would be called a pocket, and this one's called an envelope, but you do it however you want, you know. And we've inked up some journaling cards and some tags. And now then, I want to play with this a little bit in a little bit different way. Let me get this out of the way. Because when you use these, you would probably put them on some of your, see, like this one. Because of the size of my journal, this one's going to need to be either glued down like this or tipped in or paper clipped on. Now, I guess it would fit. No, it wouldn't fit in my cover unless it's sideways. This one's going to have to be used sideways like this, which is not a big deal. So we could just put it right there. Let me find a paper clip. So this is a pretty gold paper clip. You can also decorate your paper clips before you use them. So you could do it like that, or you could turn this around, and that way it holds the flap shut and clips it in. You could also use one of these, you know, on a colored page. That would be really pretty. And I think I'm just going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and glue this flap down just so we have an example of the different ways you can do it. And I'm going to just glue this in, even though the back side's really, really pretty. That'll look pretty there. Then we have a cute little pocket, and you don't have to put it in the corner. That's just, I think it looks cute, kind of in the corner like that. And for this one, we could go ahead and stick a tag in it, just like that. Okay, let me get some of the other papers that we've got that we didn't use. Okay, here's one when I was trying to figure out how to glue down the onion skin papers to the white papers. And I think this will make a really pretty tuck spot. So if you've got one that didn't work out for your plan, so what do I do with my scissors? Oh, up here. You can adjust your plan. And of course you can cut this any way you want to. I just thought it would be fun to cut it like this. Now this one could, probably would need to go right there. So let's find a page. Okay, here's a coffee dyed page. So we could put it right like that, like a tuck spot. And so let's get our ink. I'm not going to over embellish these books because part of the fun is adding to them, and I want whoever buys them at the auction to be able to add add to them. So I don't want to over embellish them, but I want to show you some ways that you can do it. So here we've got a tuck spot. Now you could put this tuck spot right here, and it would work just fine, but for some reason I like that look better. But let's see, we could put it right there. That looks really pretty. We could put it right here, but that's kind of busy. That's a little too busy for me. So let's go right here. We're just going to put it right here. And I like leaving a little border, but you could go straight out to the edge if you want to, and it would be very pretty. But I like to and it wouldn't have to be as big as that, but I like to kind of accentuate the fact that this is added in. So I need my art glitter glue, and it's in the house. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, and we're just going to put a little bit of glue down here and here. And then we're going to glue this in right here. You could just tuck something like that right in there. So that's another way you can use that same package, just not the, you know, the way it was meant to be. Another thing that you can do is take the I'm going to tear this one, but okay, so you could do this, and if it didn't have anything on the back, well, even with this one, you could do it just like that because it has those lines on the back, but it wouldn't have to. And you could make that into a journaling card. But I think it'd make a cute pocket. Right there or right here. So let's just do that. Now, one thing you could do, if I'd made it a little bit wider, I could have folded it to give it kind of a gusset. But I didn't do that, but we might do that on another one. Let me, okay. We're going to put some glue in it. And then we're going to glue it right in here. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a border for it too. Not a very big one, but a little bit of one because I like that look. And that also kind of centers it on the page. And with this art glitter glue, you just kind of have to press it down really good, and then usually it's good to go. And you could just stick a tag in there. Or you could use a you could take a piece of this is the avocado dyed paper, and you could do it like this, and that's probably too big. So let's make it a little more vintagey. And we're going to just tear it there and here. Whoops. Like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and tear this well, maybe I'm going to use my fingers. You can do that too. Let's just make the paper look more old. Don't like those peaks, but I like that unevenness. Okay, so let's move those. And because we're using plum in this book, let's go ahead and ink it with the plum. And you could do this with the sepia, and that would just make the paper look, you know, older. Let's go ahead and tear this a little bit too. It just makes the ink take better when it's torn rather than cut. We can go ahead and fold this way, and this one this way. Oops. And let's go ahead and ink it here. That way we've inked it inside and out. And now we've got a really cute piece of paper that we can put in here, and we can write a message or draw or whatever we want on here. Everything doesn't have to be decorated that you add in. Some things can be purely utilitarian. So there's that. Let's go ahead and do this one, and I'm going to do it like I suggested, where we just put a little bit of glue right here, and then you know, it's funny to me, the prettiest parts of the paper are what's on the back, which makes it harder to glue them in. You can do it, and I did that other one, but this way we're going to leave this one so it can be opened like this. And where is that? And we're going to go ahead and we're going to slip this inside it. But you could also use some more of your paper. You know, whatever piece you got that you want to. And sorry, it's catching. All right, let's do this like this. Okay, there we've got a place to write on the back. Let's go ahead and trim that too. So we've got places to write on the back, and then we've got this for the front. We're going to grunge this up a little bit because this is Grunge Garden. That plum ink just goes so well with it. Okay. So we've also got this little piece. Okay, so here you've got this little letter that you can put in here. So you can have a couple of things in there. But you could also just do this with some of your paper and glue it in itself. And we'll do one of those. But this one we're going to tuck right in here. And we're going to put it like this. And we're going to paper clip it in. Well, let's actually do it like this because it'll stay shut better. And it's just paper clipped in. And then if you wanted to, on this other side, you could, we want a contrasting one, but you could just stick a tag in. Oh, sorry, out of frame. Just like that. So you've got, you know, two things in there at one time. So this way I'm making use of this thing that didn't go exactly the way I wanted to, but it's making, you know, pretty stuff. And let's see what else I've got in here that we can use. sorry, it's going to take me just a second here. Okay, here's a piece, and this is a really particularly beautiful picture from this. It's got the cream on the back, and we could make some of those flippy things from this, but anywhere we did it, if we glued the flippy thing down, we would lose something really pretty. So we don't, that's not necessarily the best one to use. So this one, on the other hand, we could make one that goes this way instead of up and down. Let's try that. Because if we glue this part, we're not losing as much as we would on that other one. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm just going to do it roughly in half, because that way we can do two of them. Alrighty, that. See, I don't really like the look of that either. So let's trim this right here. We'll use that. We can use that for something else. But if we do it like this, we'll just make it a little smaller. Then when this folds over, it's not competing with this. You see how much that competes, whereas this doesn't? And then if we glue it down, we can open it up. And that will look pretty on that paper. It'll also look pretty over here. I like it with this paper as well. But see, it will work up and down, or it will work this way. But the way the flower is going, it looks like it belongs like this. And then you can write inside. Or you could just do this and then put a bead of glue here and a bead of glue here and make it a pocket that is glued down too. So you're not limited to the extra things that they put in here. Just print off some more of the papers and do fun stuff with them. Now I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. And we'll go ahead and ink in here. If we're going to open it up, that just kind of looks finished. If we ink it on the inside as well as the outside. Did I finish inking it everywhere? Oh, I didn't do this one. Okay, so now we've got this, which looks really cute, and we could leave it just like this, or we could put some kind of a closure on it. We could use, let's look through our tags and see if there's something that would be pretty to cut out and use as a closure. You know, we could just put a tag on here and it could just sit right down here in the corner. It's a little bit big. It's a little bit big. But if we had a smaller tag, we could use that. So let's just make it smaller. Let's just make it smaller. That'll work. Okay. We're going to take it straight up there. And right there. Actually, maybe go a little bit more. And this one had black, and so we can redo the black, make it pretty strong. And then add some of the plum. Like we did the other ones. And we need to punch our hole. And now then we can put this on here, and it can just be, it could even be like that if you want, or maybe like this. And then we can open it and we can retuck it behind. That's cute. But we need some fiber there. Let me find some fiber. Okay, here's this. I'm going to use some of this and some of this. So we're going to use all three of these, blue, purple, and yellow. Okay, and I'm just going to twist these so I can push this through. And then we're going to grab those and pull them through. And there we've got a cute little tag on there. Little flaggy stuff, little things, fibers. And because I want to leave, you know, room for someone to do something else, I'm going to go ahead. Well, maybe not. Maybe we want to put it up here. Do it different. That way those can stick out of the book. That'd be fun. Okay, first let's glue this down. Okay, and now we're going to glue this right here. And this will open up. And then it will tuck back under here. So that looks cute. So here's a few ways to use the supplies that come in the kit, and a few ways to use things that are part of the kit that are not necessarily they don't necessarily come as embellishments, and to use other papers. So you can do a lot more than just use these tags and these cards and the envelopes that are actually part of the kit. You can use the kit papers themselves to make more stuff to go in there. And that just gives you chances to make it even more interesting. You could even in a second, we'll do one more thing. I'm going to pause for just a second. You could even use a piece. This is what I took off so I could put these on the back. So this is what I cut off from here. So one thing you could do is do a kind of a semi-fussy cut down here, and then go ahead and oops. So you could do that and then just put it in like a decoration. If you do that, you might want to, do some collage of other things behind it. I don't know. That might be fun. Put some other papers behind it. See, we could do something like this, and we could even add in something from our stash. Or maybe even on top. What I really don't like is this part right here. You could add that in and make a collage. And you could do this and build this up and then make it a tuck spot. Or you could just make it a decoration on the page, whatever you want to do. That's another option. I'm not going to do that one at the moment because I'm not sure. I'm not for sure I like it. And this video has gone on long enough. So I hope I've given you some ideas of how to use the different parts of your Digi Kit to embellish. And you can use them in the ways that was suggested, and then you can also use them in other ways. And I'm going to let that be enough of that for today. Thanks.